So I do get asked a lot what historic preservation is all about, and it's a really big field and encompasses a lot of different things like restoration, reconstruction, rehabilitation. All these things kind of fall into this one field, and it can include a lot of field work like documentation, taking photographs of buildings, taking measurements of buildings, all that type of hands-on type things. And then there's also stuff on actual buildings like restorations, so that can be construction or any of these other things that kind of go into the physical aspects of the building. There's also this kind of digital side of preservation, which is more of what I do. So I work on the 3D model of the house, and this is a way to document a building in a whole different type of atmosphere. So we use all these types of data collected during the physical observations, we put it in the digital form. So we can create models that show representations of the buildings that show a more realistic scale version than what the just photographs or drawings can show. So here at Montpelier, I am the architectural technician, and sometimes people do ask me what's the difference between an architectural technician and a historic preservationist. They're pretty similar, but they're also different in a lot of ways, I think. I think here with my work as an architectural technician, it's very specific. I am hired on a very specific project. I do very specific work, whereas a preservationist would do more things that include active preservation. I mostly work on the grant to make the digital model, and I study the architecture of the house during the restoration to do that. When visitors find out that we have a digital model, a lot of times I get asked, how do you do that? Our model was built in 3ds Max, which is a 3D modeling program, but I work with it in a program called GIS, which is mostly used for mapping type things. It's kind of what Google Maps would be like. It's a little bit more high tech than that though. And I use that to access the model, and I label everything in the model, everything's selectable, and I can click on everything, and I use that to bring up these tables and all the records that I have been organizing, so all the pictures, all the field notes, all the architectural drawings will be linked in there to its specific element. So every mantle in every room will have its own list of all these records that are related to it, and you can just go click on the mantelpiece and there will all be, easily for you to look through and search. So a lot of times people ask me what are my favorite things about historic preservation. So my favorite things about preservation is field work. I love to be on the field. I love to put on my fieldwork clothes, my boots, my hard helmet, and go explore buildings. I love to crawl around in basements and attics and really look at things and try to figure out things. Old buildings are kind of like a puzzle sometimes. You don't really know where they came from or who made them or how it was made, so you got to get in there and really touch the building, get in there, look at it, and figure out how it was done. And that is one of my favorite things to do, is to go document a building. I also love the nitty-gritty of it all. I love to look at things and look at the saw marks on wood, or to look at the nails to determine what period they came from, or anything like that that just gives me little clues to a building that I can piece together and do more research on to figure out how it was made and when it was made, and all those little things that come together to tell a building story. My favorite things about preservation here at Montpelier is the way it was done. The restoration was done so well that I've never seen anything done like it before, and I get to study it every day, which is really, really cool. I get to read the reports of what they were finding, and then I can go to the house and see the evidence that they linked it all to and how they made these discoveries. I get to see the ghost on the brickwork, or the cold joints in between the different stages of construction, and I can go and I can see that, and it's really interesting to have that type of research done at a historic house that I get to work at. I get to read those reports and really learn something from a restoration that happened almost 20 years ago. It was so revolutionary for its time, so it really lets me look at restoration in a different way, in a way that's almost done like archaeology, but it's architecture, and I think that's just so cool.